Blog Talk Radio.
Hi everyone, and welcome to Franchise Interviews, where we're asking the franchipreneur who owns one. I'm your host Marty McDermott with my co-host Don Johnson, and if you ever dreamed of owning your own business, then you've come to the right place. We have a great show this morning. We're meeting with Amit Kleinberger, CEO of the franchise opportunity Menchies. Menchies is a brainchild of Danna and Adam, whose passion and love for creating the perfect frozen yogurt quickly transformed into the ultimate fro-yo lover's paradise. And that's coming up in segment 2 of Franchise Interviews. So stick around because we got a great show.
Are you one of those special people who are willing to go after your dreams and goals? Are you ready to fulfill that dream of owning your own business with the security of a proven brand? The opportunity to take control of your future and own a Rita's Italian Ice franchise is within your reach.
Rita's is seeking success-oriented individuals who are ready to make a change in their life, and Rita's offers unparalleled training and support to assure your success. And did you know the frozen treat industry is a recession-proof industry, and there are Rita's in 23 states currently with 540 stores open. Rita's Italian Ice has been around for 25 years and is listed as a top-performing franchise by the Wall Street Journal.
Now here's the really good part. Rita's Italian Ice is a unique and amazing taste treat. It's smoother than a snow cone, and it combines ice with real fresh fruit. The real fruit adds dramatically to the taste, and it comes in over 40 flavors. The ice and fruit are mixed on site and made fresh daily, and it is delicious.
You'll want to know more about this exciting and successful franchise opportunity. Go to www.ownaritas.com and get all your questions answered. That's www.ownaritas.com to take control of your dreams and future today. You don't want to wait any longer to be a part of this adventure. www.ownaritas.com.
Who's helping build America one small business at a time? Franchise Inc., a free consulting service.
For years, Franchise Inc., a national company, has been helping people franchise their business concept and help folks like you own a franchise.
With over 2,500 franchise systems out there, it can be awfully confusing. Don't take chances with your future. At Franchise Inc., we've done the homework for you. We can help match your interest and background with the franchise that's right for you. And we only work with proven franchise systems with a solid reputation and track record of success.
The consultants at Franchise Inc. can help you with your short and long-term wealth strategy.
Give us a call today and we'll send you free our best-selling book, Solving the Puzzle of Owning a Franchise.
Remember, it's not just owning a franchise, but finding the right one for you. Call us at 800-961-0420 for a quick consultation to discuss what's important to you, your business, and your future.
The service is free. The book is free. What do you have to lose? Find the business that's right for you.
Call Franchise Inc. at 800-961-0420. That's Franchise Inc. at 800-961-0420.
Hi everyone, and welcome back to Franchise Interviews, where we're asking the franchipreneur who owns one. I'm your host Marty McDermott with my co-host Don Johnson. And if you ever dreamed of owning your own business, then you've come to the right place. How you doing today, Don? Happy holidays. Welcome back.
Happy holidays to you too, Marty. How are you this week?
Good. Wet, snowy day here in Pennsylvania. I know you guys, it sounds like you got hit with rain today, huh?
Right, yeah, it's not
Getting
too
closer
nice
to the shore, so it's possible we might have a white Christmas. I don't know.
I was just going to say, I wouldn't mind seeing that on the 25th.
Yeah, there you go, if it stays cold enough,
Yeah.
So we'll have to wait and see what happens. But our last show, we met with Gina Lynn Smith, Don, President of Franchise Services for Value Place Franchise Opportunity. And they were founded in 2002. Value Place is an economy extended stay lodging and short-term residential property brand that features remarkably affordable weekly rates, rigorous cleanliness, standards, and secure temporary lodging with an unparalleled commitment to the comfort, privacy, and peace of mind of each guest. I thought it was a great concept. What were your thoughts on last week?
Yeah, I thought she really explained Value Place and their business model very well. She's a very good speaker, and she gave us a lot of information. I thought it was interesting how she referred to their franchisees as strategic partners.
Yes.
And it's, you know, they seem like they're doing things right. They're not growing too quick.
Mm-hmm.
They definitely have a bright future.
Yeah.
It's, you know, it's interesting how they can have, you know, a business with only a few employees, and then the whole model's working.
Yeah, it really is amazing. You know, my question was, how do they do that? I mean, again, that's from years of experience of getting it down. It was interesting that Gina Lynn, she was talking about one of their franchisees. I guess he was a manager of, I guess, what was it, one of those like storage places or storage units. And I knew a gentleman who actually did that for a long time. And she's right. You know, I mean, he was like one manager, one person in this whole facility, the storage place. You know, so I guess the concept really isn't much different if you think about it. I mean, you don't need 40 people just like standing there, you know, waiting for people to come in. So,
but it is a service business. There are a lot of rooms to be cleaned. It's real. I don't understand how they do it, but it's working.
Yeah, there was I found an article in one of the business journals. This was on their franchisee. Looks like it says Carter Rise. It says Rise hopes to draw military contractors who need temporary housing as well as people moving to the area in need of a place to live while they're looking for permanent housing. I thought that was interesting. It says the Colonial Heights location is the second one for Rise, who again is a franchisee to Value Place. He opened his first Value Place in Chesapeake at the end of September. That location is doing well, he said, and is attracting a mix of military contractors, business travelers, and people between homes. Rai said that the chain is growing in a down economy because of the price point. Rates at his new location will be $229 per week with a 1-week minimum stay. The hotel rates are between $159 and $359 nationwide. The average length of stay is 90 days, according to the company. Just very interesting, you know, looking into their franchisees and their backgrounds and things like that. And the interesting thing when we spoke to Gina Lynn was she was saying that their franchisees really do have diverse backgrounds. You know what I mean? It's not somebody who is necessarily from like the hotel industry or anything like that. You know, I mean, there was bankers and a nice mix. And I think that certainly adds to a franchise when you have your brainstorming sessions and all these people with different experiences, you know. So just a great concept. I didn't know much about it, but I definitely understand it a lot better today. So
it was our first hotel company, too.
It was, yeah, absolutely. So it was another one for the archives. And, you know, as always, I like to keep my eye on them and just, you know, watch them continue to grow. And we'll have to have them back sometime in 2010.
Yeah, definitely.
So she did.
And even the founder. It'd be nice to the founder had an interesting background, too. That's
true, yeah. We should.
Jack DeBoer, I think his name was.
Yeah, Jack DeBoer. And, you know, we should, wasn't that a great story, too? I mean, how they wrote the business plan on the napkin.
Right.
You know, I mean, it's just, I love stories like that because you hear them all the time. You know, he just has his vision, but it just goes to show you the simplicity of the concept. You know what I mean? To write it down on a napkin and say, this is what it is. It's not as complicated as it seems, and that's franchising. You really want to make it as simple as possible for the franchisees. When it becomes complicated, it becomes a very difficult franchise to run, and it sounds like this isn't the case, you know, so.
Yeah, good point.
Very interesting. So, yeah. So what do we got going on today, Don?
Well, today we're having Amit Kleinberger, CEO of Menchies.
Yeah, interesting.
So we're excited to hear about them. It seems like they're in several states, and, you know, it's another one of these franchises that once he's explaining all the different flavors and stuff they have, it's going to make us hungry. But
yeah, I know. I think there's like 40 different toppings or something like that. They have an interesting concept too, and I know that it's an interesting story too. How Menchie's actually started up. I'll let Amit talk about that story because I'm sure he could tell it better than I could. But I just thought that was fascinating too. So yeah, looking forward to having him on that segment too. So
good.
That's great.
Okay.
What's going on in the world of franchising? Any news articles or?
Yeah, here's something interesting, Marty. Through allbusiness.com, focus on diversity in franchisee recruitment declines. It doesn't take much more than a quick glance at the demographics to understand the relationship between minorities and franchising. Ethnic minorities constitute roughly one-third of the U.S. population and are expected to grow to 54% of the population by 2050, according to the U.S. Census Bureau. In fact, the single-race white population is expected to actually shrink in the 2030s and 40s,
right,
while all the other race groups are expected to grow. The numbers speak volumes, and franchisors have been listening, establishing programs and initiatives over the past several years to encourage and promote franchise ownership among minorities. However, the shakeup of the economy has also recently caused a shakeup in minority franchising, leaving its immediate future less a question of numbers and more just in question. So it seems like this rough economy is really, shaking up everything on all levels. I think the bloom is off the rose for the time being in terms of minorities, and people are now flocking to veterans, says Robert Bond, co-founder of the National Minority Franchising Initiative, an organization established in 2000 to increase the numbers of minorities in franchising. He says Bond is so convinced that franchisors will be turning their focus to veterans because of their leadership skills and access to capital that he himself is considering turning his attention to veterans. As a result, the National Minority Franchising Initiative no longer offers seminars, and this year will not be publishing its guide, which highlights the franchise companies most committed to increasing minority representation. Well, that's kind of not good news, I guess.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm surprised. And it's funny, as you're reading the article, it's for the longest time, I found an interesting article on the same topic. It was written by a gentleman. I don't know why the name sounds so familiar to me, Bob Ballas. But I always put the article to the side, and I was just looking at it as you're reading it. And he says something interesting, Don, in kind of like conjunction with what you're saying. He says franchising makes even more sense for minorities as the business concept is tested and proven, and their success is more assured. Minority owners have a great success in the service and food industries. Also, like they're using Jana King and Dunkin' Donuts and others, as some interesting examples. So it's kind of interesting.
Yeah. Miriam Brewer, Director of Diversity of the IFA's Educational Foundation, agrees that the current economic climate has forced many franchisors to put special programs on the back burner, focus instead on the bottom line. Even though the number of minorities interested in franchising is growing due to corporate downsizing and a poor job market, she believes the number of minorities in franchising will not increase due to the even more prohibitive challenges of access to capital. Until credit begins to flow, she says the number of minorities entering franchising will remain stagnant. However, that's not to say that efforts linking minorities in franchising are entirely non-existent. Thanks to funding from Coca-Cola and ExxonMobil, the IFA has conducted 50 programs targeting minorities across the country over the last 2 years. The IFA's effort include, but not limited to, the Minority Fran program, a minority franchisee recruitment program, franchise opportunities, seminars for women and minorities held in various cities across the country. Myself being in franchise financing nationwide, I'm always speaking to minorities and veterans and women. Really across the board, helping everybody. And there are still franchisors out there proactively continuing to launch and run programs to reach minority communities. Choice Hotels International established an emerging markets division in 2003 to offer support and financial assistance to qualified minority entrepreneurs. And the last thing here, Marty, additional examples include Service Master Clean, which introduced the Shane Battier Franchise Scholarship Award in 2008 and committed to providing $1.3 million over 4 years, all in an effort to expand the Service Master Clean commercial cleaning ownership base among women and minorities. He's a pro basketball player, so it's good to see some franchisors, getting into it and offering their own programs to help, minorities in general.
Right. Yeah, we're gonna have to keep our eye on that. I mean, it's kind of a surprise, isn't it? As you were reading the article, I was a little surprised because, if you go back a couple of years ago, the data was a lot different.
Right.
So,
yeah, I'm a little surprised too, but I guess in tough and tighter times,
right?
Like you said, companies are concentrating on their bottom line. You got to survive and try to grow.
Right.
And unfortunately, good programs kind of get put to the side, maybe if it's temporarily.
Yeah, and one of the things I want to talk about on next week's show, too, Don, is I thought, next week's show would be kind of a good time to talk about the end-of-the-year events, or just kind of like the whole year in general, kind of talk about what we saw, what we think is going to happen, hopefully,
right,
in 2010. So I think next show will be a good topic for that as well.
Yeah, definitely. We'll really kind of recap the year a little bit and, kind of talk about what might be coming up for the following year.
Right.
Here's something through Fox Small Business. I started last week. I want to continue with Matthew Shea. He, of course, is the CEO of the IFA, the nation's largest association representing $2.5 trillion franchise industry, which consists of more than 900,000 franchise businesses.
Right.
And they asked him, have the market gyrations over the past year produced a franchise skittishness, especially among those aged 45 to 55, typically a sweet spot for franchise businesses? Are people shying away from operating franchises? And he answers, no. I think that as those people see volatile equity markets and the way those markets operate, they think they need to find new alternatives to protect their assets and their livelihoods. They're taking their assets out of equity and real estate markets, which they cannot control, and putting the money to work in an active investment where you have significant control over overall value.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a fancy way of saying, people are investing in franchises using their own money.
Right. That's true.
With franchising, you can create an asset you can sell or transfer that has appreciated in value while providing yourself a secure livelihood, which is, of course, what's nice about being a business owner. Right. Investing in a franchise, lower chance of failure, you get to be profitable quicker, but, of course, you're building up an asset that you can sell later on or just keep in the family,
right.
For many years.
It's an interesting way of looking at it because I'm not sure that everyone looks at buying a franchise in that manner, Don. Sometimes, you've heard the cliche, or, some people say it's like buying a job, but not true at all. We've seen some interesting ideas of people buying multi-unit franchises, or different even
right.
types of franchises, like a maid franchise, carpet cleaning franchise, and putting that together and then almost like running a corporation, It's
right.
I know Franchise Inc. does something similar to that, so I think that's interesting.
Right. Quickly grow to multi-units and even, multi-brands.
Multi-brands, too. There's interesting concepts out there.
It continues on. Marty, franchising offers an opportunity to secure your financial destiny if you have access to enough credit to launch a business. Depending on the scale of your investment, there are a wide range of opportunities. Next question, I asked them, are you seeing more people using their severance payouts as a means to start a franchise? He says, yes, that's generally been a key source of money to get a business off the ground in this environment. In 2000 or 2003, people were able to access the equity in their homes or their 401ks. Now they use severance or other liquid savings. We still see, because I'm in the business, I see a lot of people rolling over their 401k
right.
And retirement, and people are still getting financing, but it's just much tougher, of course.
It's weird, too, because their 401ks also dropped significantly, too, right? I guess you've
right.
seen that, too. In some cases, their 401ks have gone, it's like half of what it was worth.
Right.
2 years
ago. It's come back a little bit, but it's still
right.
down, so people have to decide whether they want to risk that.
Exactly.
But essentially, investing in a business is going to be your retirement.
Right.
Next question. In January, the IFA forecasts SBA lending down as much as 50% from $20 billion last year to $10 billion. Has that played out? He answers, overall, SBA lending has been up thanks to stimulus activity, an increase in funding, and a relaxing of some requirements. But our sense is that not enough of that lending went to new business startups or franchises. You have to understand where the loan guarantees went. You have to dig through the numbers a bit. Refinancing real estate is not much of a stimulus to the economy, not beneficial to many people. That's a good point. Mm-hmm. An increase in absolute loan volume doesn't necessarily translate into great benefit to the economy. And are you seeing more franchisees default in this economy? He says, no question, in challenging times, the stronger operators survive and the weaker ones creates greater hurdles.
Interesting.
So obviously he's one of the voices in the franchise industry.
Right.
He's out there trying to, to
fight for franchise.
Of course, better the industry.
Yeah, I mean, and that's that's his job too. Is to fight for franchising. And I know Franchise Times got a lot of great quotes from him. In their last edition. So
right,
kind of interesting. So I saw Amit called in, and then it looks like he got disconnected. But why don't we do this, Don? We'll take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back with more franchise interviews.
Okay, you've got my attention.
It's a rare event in the world of franchising when an opportunity comes your way that can and will thrive in almost any economic environment. It's here, and its name is Big Mouth Advertising.
Big Mouth.
BMA is a leader in the exciting world of mobile media advertising. Why is mobile media advertising able to defy the economic cycles? The answer is obvious. In times of economic weakness, advertising is crucial for survival as the consumer dollar is scarce and the competition fierce. What is mobile media? It's the newest and fastest growing segment in the advertising world. Mobile media brings the message directly to the consumer. Mobile media goes to the consumer in traffic where he eats and where he plays. It quite simply cannot be turned off or thrown out. And when you join the Big Mouth team as a franchisee, you are joining the best. The Big Mouth advantage is simple and successful. We invest in a strong infrastructure and in great people. As a franchisee, you have access to this entire system, including telemarketing, sales maximization, general and administrative support, design and creative services, even billing and collection services. All you need is a mobile media vehicle, a driver, and the willingness to create a financially sound and limitless business for yourself. There are no long-term leases to sign, no expensive build-outs, no office personnel to hire. You will be part of the Big Mouth advertising community and share its entire website and reception services, as well as its complete back-office services. This virtual office guarantees you the freedom to close those sales that will make you a success. We are so proud of our successes that we have voluntarily disclosed our revenue statements. Now, how many other franchises are doing that? Even in these historically rough financial times, Big Mouth Advertising has become a dominant force in the mobile media industry. Join the Big Mouth team and take the first step toward financial freedom. Please call Ron at 888-98-GO-BIG. That's 888-98-GO-BIG. Big Mouth! Need a business loan? Talk to Diamond Financial Services, the experts in franchise financing nationwide. Whether you're looking to start a franchise, acquire an existing franchise, or expand your territory through opening new locations, Diamond Financial stands by your side start to finish. From pre-qualification to packaging and presenting your application to securing a financial commitment and through the loan closing process, Diamond Financial is there. While you're waiting, thousands of others are making their financial dreams come true. Don't wait any longer. Pre-qualify now by completing a confidential, no-obligation financial analysis. Let's face it, traditional banks just aren't in the business of financing small business. At Diamond Financial, we specialize in securing franchise loans from $100,000 to $3 million and equipment leasing up to $150,000. Let us help you get started. Go to www.franchisefunding.net or call 877-508-2274. That's franchisefunding.net, 877-508-2274.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Franchise Interviews, where we're asking the franchipreneur who owns one. I'm your host, Marty McDermott, with my co-host, Don Johnson. And if you ever dreamed of owning your own business, then you've come to the right place. Today's show is being brought to you by Franchise Times Magazine. Franchise Times is the only publication that targets both franchisors and multi-unit franchisees, and is a must-read for anyone looking to buy a franchise. And as we were saying earlier, Don, we got a great show today because we're meeting with Amit, Kleinberger, CEO of the franchise opportunity Menchies. And Menchies is the brainchild of Danna and Adam, whose passion and love for eating the perfect frozen yogurt quickly transformed into the ultimate fro-yo lover's paradise. And Menchie's customers are able to serve themselves the perfect yogurt mix by choosing from a wide variety of delicious flavors and more than 40 toppings, with everything from chocolate, candies, and hot fudge to granola and fresh seasonal fruit. So once again, Don, get ready to get hungry. Hey, Amit, how are you today?
Good morning to both of you. How are you?
Good, Amit. Thank you for joining us. And Don, I know you wanted to say good morning to Amit.
Yeah, happy holidays, Amit. We appreciate you coming on. We look forward to hearing about the Menchie story.
Pleasure.
And Amit, go ahead.
We also have Donna that I think is also waiting. I wanted her to join.
Oh, good.
And I don't know if it's possible to get her online, but she's also waiting to be hosted. Absolutely.
Hey, Donna, how are you? This is Marty. Welcome.
Hi, good morning. How are you guys?
Good morning. Happy holidays, Donna. It's a pleasure to have you on the show.
And this is Don. Donna.
Appreciate
having you on.
Yeah, it's fantastic. We like to always start off asking our guests, and I'll start with you, Amit. Where are you calling from this morning to get an idea of what the weather is there?
We're calling this morning from Los Angeles. Actually, I'm looking outside. The sun seems to be shining, though. It's misleading. I guess it's cold outside, so we'll see. I have to step outside to see what's going on, but we'll see.
There you go. Well, it's snowing here in Pennsylvania, and I know where Don is. It's very rainy today, so I think we'd kill to be in that part of the country right now. So
we got both coasts covered here. Okay, good.
Yeah, and I know it's early there, too. Amit, I'll start with you. What were you doing before joining Menchies?
Well, I actually had several business ventures, and one of my recent ventures was I was in the senior care business, where we were providing services to seniors, and I was in transition from the business and joined Menchies.
Oh, interesting. And how about you, Donna? How did you? What were you doing your previous life before becoming a franchisee to Menchies?
I've actually taught in the past, and I was also working in marketing before we ventured into our own fro-yo dreams.
Wow, that's interesting.
And Donna, how'd you hear about Menchies? How'd that whole thing happen?
Actually, Menchies, I am one of the founders. My husband and I started the first Menchies, and so I came on to kind of help with how we got started and on the creation of Menchies to begin with.
Interesting. Okay, so you've been involved since the start. Maybe tell us a bit about, the history of Menchies, when it started and when you began franchising.
I can speak a little bit to that. I'll let Amit take over after.
Okay.
Menchies is actually my sweet tooth come to life. My husband and I started the first Menchies 2.5 years ago as a way for me to have all my sweet tooth dreams come true in one yogurt cup, as I call it. And we started with the one store, and the response was overwhelming. Everybody just really loved Menchies and what we were doing, and then Amit got involved as we started franchising.
Interesting. Good. And then when did franchising officially start?
We began franchising in the early stages of 2008, while the original model became very, very successful, and we started the process. Though it took us a while till we really moved forward and sharpened the pencil on the model, made sure the systems are efficient, made sure the unit economics, everything works perfectly. And towards the latest stage of 2008, that's really where things picked up and the momentum started. And now we're running full speed with our franchise operation.
And that's interesting because obviously 2008 was a tougher year as time went on. The economy started getting rougher. 2009's well documented, so it seems like you're doing well even in an overall tough economy. Are you surprised by that?
Actually, we're not that surprised. When we conducted business studies, it showed us that our model is actually a self-gratification product at a low price point, where in this economy it seems to be that our numbers are not being affected. In fact, some of locations are even higher than before. One of the reasons is we sell a low-price product, and it is a self-gratification product, and those are a few things that people will not give up even in tougher times, where when a family could have gone to Cheesecake Factory and had a meal for 4 or 5 people for $100, if today they're going to cut back, they can have the same kind of an evening treat for the family for $20 or $25 and still have the same amount of fun and sometimes even more. So we really don't see the effect, and I think that's what gave our franchise system a lot of momentum. As we had a tremendous year in 2009, our growth was at its highest peak in this year.
Right, and Marty and I have talked a lot about, even though times are tough, hey, there's more qualified people out there to choose from to become franchisees. Obviously, there's good deals on people leasing space, and even though financing is tough, it is the lowest rates in 5 years. So, those are the things that new franchisees can be taken advantage of.
Yeah, it's true. And I think one of the things I love about this type of franchise of me and Danna is that it really is I think it's a feel-good type of franchise. I mean, again, I'm just assuming, but you see smile on your customers' faces and things like that. Is that true?
I'll revert to Danna because she's really, I can give a great answer, but nothing will be as good as coming from her mouth. Her expertise is really about celebrating smiles.
Right, good point.
And absolutely, I think that one of the great things and one of the reasons that we've had such a great response is because every time people come in, they're so happy to be there. How can you be in a bad mood when you get to come in and make your dessert? And the franchisees and even the employees are always in a good mood because everybody who comes in the store is always happy. The kids run in, the parents are happy, and it's a really feel-good business.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, it's not like owning not to pick on the automotive franchise where you kind of bring your car in and then you're upset about all the money you have to pay. You know what I mean? So it's one of the things that I do like about this franchise. So that's very, very interesting.
It's an interesting question what you described. I often hear from franchisees comments that are not typical in the franchise system, and I actually last week someone used the phrase "it's a sexy concept," and in a positive way of speaking, where it really is a concept where the franchisee takes a lot of pride. Like you said, if a franchisee has an auto service franchise, well, while it's great and it's a great service, this is really franchise where you get to be known in the community. The neighborhood knows you. Our franchisees can describe a sense where they go to a community event and people say, wow, you own Menchies at this location. And it becomes somewhat of a status symbol because it really is a unique concept, and it is a feel-good concept.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's very interactive, seems, too, with your customers, where they actually get to choose their own toppings and things like that. And did one of you want to describe the Menchie's franchise system? I mean, when you have a prospective franchisee, if you guys had a franchise show and they came up to your booth, what would you say to them? How would you describe the franchise system?
Sure. One of the unique things at Menchie's is, as we said, it's really, when Danna explained it comes from a passion and a sweet tooth. One of the most important things that we look in a franchisee is really a passion for the brand. This is a very, very service-oriented franchise as to we would like to provide the highest quality service to every consumer. And when we bring in franchisees and we're overwhelmed with response, we have to make sure that they really share that passion. While businesses are out there and the opportunity to make money exists in many concepts, yet in this concept we really see something different. It's not only about the financials, it's really about the feeling that we provide to the consumers. It's really about the service that we provide to the community, and the community responds in the same way. So when we deal with a franchise candidate, we'd like to see a person that really loves the brand, understands the brand, and understands the feeling that Danna was creating when she came up with a concept. It's really about spreading the love around, and that's what we try to do. And if we feel that the franchisee understands that concept, then we have a match.
Interesting. And I was just thinking about the name Menchies, which I really like a lot. And, Danna, maybe tell us about how that name came across. It's a cute little story.
Absolutely. Well, actually, when this all started on one of my husband and I's first dates, that he took me to a place that made me want to do our very own frozen yogurt store, and my husband's nickname for me is Menchie. And because I was the sweet tooth dream that pushed this to life, we decided, well, actually my husband decided that we should call it Menchies, as I was the one who really wanted to do this, and I really have the big sweet tooth in the family.
And those are great stories too, Danna. You know, it's like when you hear, you know, how a business actually began and came up with their name and things like that. You know, it just I think it adds to the character of the franchise too. You know, and you had an interesting background too, Danna. What about the franchisees? I mean, who are the Menchies franchisees? What were they doing before becoming franchisees?
That's an interesting question. They have been in various backgrounds. We have an airline pilot, a criminal defense attorney, developers, chiropractors, dentists, just any variety of professions. And that's really one of the key things that showed us that anyone can join the system. There is no specific profile to fit the system as long as they share the brand. One thing that is a common ground to all of our franchisees, we see a common family value where these are people that went with their children and their families into the Menchie store. The Menchie's concept is a very family-oriented and community-oriented concept. And we see in our franchisees that they all share those values. Those are people that are involved in the communities. They care about the communities. They can be a mayor in a small town, or they can be an attorney that's well known. It's people that really have a high interest level in serving their community.
Interesting. And I think that certainly adds to the franchise too, is having that diversity, you know, when you guys have your meetings and things like that. So I think that's fantastic. Has technology played a role in this franchise, Amit or Danna?
I would say absolutely. We use Twitter, Facebook, a lot of people. We have over 15,000 fans on Facebook. People really like to talk about their Menchie's experience. They like to post their favorite yogurt mixes. They like to take pictures of them in the store. They like to follow us on Twitter. So it's definitely something that keeps the customers involved and gives us a great opportunity to connect with them and get feedback and always improve and make sure that the store is always giving everybody the best experience possible.
That's great.
Also, speaking of the industry you're in, would you happen to have any stats or figures on how big the industry is?
We have we like to provide accurate data. You know, these questions is really, there is no sure figure of what's going on. What we know is that approximately right now it's looking to be at about $14 billion industry, with an expectation growth to reach $28 billion by 2012. One of the things we do know is that frozen yogurt is really becoming the leading segment within the frozen dessert segment. So when you talk about ice cream and smoothies and all these different concepts, frozen yogurt is really emerging to be the hottest QSR concept, and it's not only nationwide; it's becoming pretty much worldwide, where it gains a tremendous amount of focus, especially from large restaurateur groups and from large multi-unit operators, where they feel it's a simple business model with a very unique strategy for expansion, as it's simple to operate and simple to expand.
Yeah, I mean, that's an interesting stat you brought up, the hottest QSR. How come you think it's growing so much? And I see there's some other franchise concepts starting up. Is it just people are looking to maybe eat a little better and combine that with it being such a flavorful product, low price end? I mean, is it a combination of those things as why your niche market is becoming so popular?
It's actually a combination. First of all, there's a health process that's really going through the world right now, and I'm using the word process because it seems that the customers are shifting towards healthier products because they are available, and this is really due to technology where products are actually created and they are more beneficial from a health standpoint, where frozen yogurt, when you eat it, you don't have to have a guilt trip after, like in other products such as ice cream, where it's really healthy. It's packed with probiotics. It's certified by the dairy. The National Live Active Culture Association supports and endorses it. So it really becomes a product that people enjoy eating, and it sometimes replaces a meal. So these things really give it a niche. On top of it, when you combine that with a successful business model that's easy to operate, and the unit level economics works really well, the franchisees are able to sustain their model and really become successful. A healthy product with a good business model, that's a winning combination.
Right. Good point. Yeah. I mean, I think there's a lot of things going, for the better for your industry. I think a lot of good things are going on. Donna, what's been the most interesting thing that's happened to you since joining Menchies? Was it meeting Amit?
Well, that was definitely a fun part.
I'm sure, and I hope better things have happened.
The pressure on you with that question.
One of the greatest experiences for me, as my husband and I opened the first store, we were always working and living in the store much more so than right now. And really, the greatest part is the customer feedback. When you come in, when people come into the store, when the kids are saying, "Yay, Mom brought me to Menchies," or people are writing about us and talking about us. I've actually had someone come into the store when I was working and say, "Is this your idea? Can I give you a hug?" That kind of feedback that we get from the customers, and just the love and the passion that they share with us for the brand has really been absolutely incredible. I mean, nobody talks about going to get frozen yogurt. They always talk about coming to Menchies, and that's just been an amazing experience for us.
Yeah, it's got to be interesting for you too, Don. I mean, to see all these franchisees. I mean, a franchise with your name on it. I mean, to see something like this happen, 20 years ago, that there would be a franchise chain with your nickname. I mean, it's just it must be an incredible feeling, I imagine.
It absolutely is, and it's really just a fun experience every day.
Yeah.
It's great to see that everybody really reacts. I'm not the only one out there with a sweet tooth, and like Amit said, I don't have to feel guilty because we do have yogurt and it's not ice cream, and you can feel good about your choices. And parents also feel good about bringing their kids in. Even if their kids throw a couple of M&Ms on, they still know that they're giving them something good and still giving them a great treat.
Yeah, I agree. Well said. Yeah. Amit and Donna, we have to take a quick break. Are you guys able to stick around for another segment?
Absolutely. We're all yours.
That's fantastic. And we'll be right back with more franchise interviews.
Franchise Interviews. For over 2 years now, Franchise Interviews has been giving you an up-close, behind-the-scenes look at franchising and entrepreneurship.
Through our website, franchiseinterviews.com, where you can hear and read interviews as well as get tips from some of the most successful sources in franchising.
And our weekly franchise radio show, where each week you get to hear a new interview with franchisors, franchisees, franchise authors, experts, and attorneys.
And our free franchise newsletter, which is a must-read for anyone looking to buy a franchise.
And don't forget to listen to our podcast, Great Quotes in Franchising. For more information, go to franchiseinterviews.com or call us at 610-905-2919.
That's 610-905-2919.
Who's helping build America one small business at a time? Franchise Inc., a free consulting service.
For years, Franchise Inc., a national company, has been helping people franchise their business concept and help folks like you own a franchise.
With over 2,500 franchise systems out there, it can be awfully confusing. Don't take chances with your future. At Franchise Inc., we've done the homework for you. We can help match your interest and background with the franchise that's right for you. And we only work with proven franchise systems with a solid reputation and track record of success.
The consultants at Franchise Inc. can help you with your short and long-term wealth strategy.
Give us a call today and we'll send you free our best-selling book, Solving the Puzzle of Owning a Franchise.
Remember, it's not just owning a franchise, but finding the right one for you. Call us at 800-961-0420 for a quick consultation to discuss what's important to you, your business, and your future.
The service is free. The book is free. What do you have to lose? Find the business that's right for you.
Call Franchise Inc. at 800-961-0420. That's Franchise Inc. at 800-961-0420.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Franchise Interviews, where we're asking the entrepreneur who owns one. I'm your host, Marty McDermott, with my co-host, Don Johnson. If you ever dreamed of owning your own business, then you've come to the right place. We have a great show today. We're meeting with Amit, Kleinberger, CEO of the franchise opportunity Menchies, and Donna, who is actually one of the founders of the Menchies franchise opportunity. And Don, I think you're up.
Yeah, this will be a question, I guess, for either of you. What types of characteristics do you look for in a franchisee now that you're established? You mentioned before it seems you had a wide variety of backgrounds in some of your franchisees, but are there some specific characteristics you want to see moving forward with some of your franchisees?
Yeah, we would like to see franchisees that really care and have the passion for the brand. As I said before, it will be a combination of the two. We're looking for a good sense of entrepreneurship, so good business people with a good sense of reality that can actually perform the business strategy and really implement our systems and provide a good service. And the second thing is really have the passion for the brand. If they understand the brand and have the passion for the community, they would make a good fit for the franchise system.
Okay, excellent.
And what's the training like, Amit or Donna, for new franchisees?
Training system goes on the philosophy is really under-promising and over-delivering, where we train our franchisees to really provide the community with the service that we, from the beginning, want to, and this is something Donna can also expand on, wanted to provide in the store. It's very important that every customer that comes in really receives that sense of welcome to the store, and it feels like home, and it's a community neighborhood store where they can come in and enjoy their treat. And the training will really focus on that, whether it's from systems to operations to customer service. It will really focus on really how do we provide this experience that we call at the Menchies location to all consumers and all customers. And that's really what we focus on. And we call it quite the boot camp because it's a 6-7 day process. We actually let them operate the store, and they reach a level where at the peak of the training, they actually run and manage the store on their own.
And as Amit was saying also, there's really a great, we really want to focus on the connection between the customer and the owners of the franchise. When we first opened, people really connect. People come into Menchies 3, 4, 5 times a week, and they like knowing who's running the store. They like following the families, and they like being involved, and we like that too. So every store, as Amit was saying, has its own, not necessarily a large company feel, but a small and intimate community feel where they connect with their local community and they're part of it and people know them.
Yeah, it sounds very relationship-driven, Donna, as you're describing it, which I think is so important.
Absolutely, and I think, again, it all intensifies and solidifies the experience of the store and keeps both the community and the owners really enjoying the experience and being part of the passion for the brand, and it makes it a lot more enjoyable as well, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. And what's a typical day like for a Menchies franchisee, if there is such a thing, Don? I mean, how would you describe that?
Well, I think it's the most important thing about Menchies, and Amit can speak to this also, is really about spreading the smiles and spreading the fun and the love of Menchies, and whether that's being in the store or going to a location, bringing Menchies to a school or to an event, or bringing kids to Menchies. It's really all about, as we really call it, spreading the love to everybody and keeping everybody involved. And that happens in a lot of different ways, as I said, the various aspects of running the store.
I'll add to this that this is a very successful concept. So one of the things when we actually tailored the business model, we wanted to be a type where you don't really have to all day long run after the business. So when you ask about the day of a Menchie's franchisee, I would say if we take a typical day, you can wake up in the morning, go to the store, make sure the morning shift is in the store is ready to operate. Then you can actually go and then relax a bit, come back. At noon, the rush after school will start. The people will start pouring in. One of the nice things in the model, it's a model where you can really open the door and the store will be flooded with people. We have stores that on the first day just receive an enormous amount of people coming into the store, and people just love the concept. So a typical day would be not a very intense day. It can be a day of maybe doing some fundraisers, being in the store, the daily operations. It's really a fun experience for franchising.
Interesting. Any plans to maybe co-brand and work with some other franchising companies? Have you thought of that?
We are at this point, very keen on keeping the model consistent in the way it is. We're very successful at this point with attracting high quality of franchisees. Our consumers love us and the concept, and the company seems to be moving forward in the speed of light. One of the philosophies that we have right now, if something is not broken, we're not going to fix it. There's no reason in the world right now to change. On top of that, one of the things that people really like is the fact that we're a specialty store. That's what we do. We're best at it, and people know when you want a great cup of yogurt and a great experience, you go to Menchies. And at that point, we are not looking to add anything. And on the opposite side, on the contrary, we're looking to actually make it more and more unique and more towards the best frozen yogurt experience available.
And what type of location works best, Amit or Danna, for a Menchies? I mean, is it standalone? Is it in a strip location, a mall location? Have you noticed any locations that work particularly well?
Absolutely. We have a wide variety of locations. It can be a strip center, or a shopping center, an outdoor mall, an indoor mall, standalone, street retail, universities, campuses. We really notice that the model thus far have really performed very well in various types of locations where it can be a successful point in any given point. It depends on really the community. It can be in a neighborhood community and can do phenomenal. It can be in a mall. So we really fit any place that has a good community surrounding it and good exposure.
And it doesn't sound like finding a location would be a difficult task for a Menchies.
In this economy, as you know, it's rather easy to find good locations. Though I will say that we are a picky company where we don't just pick any location. We strive on location, and we want to make sure we really tap into the best of what the market can offer. So at this point, the variety is out there. All you have to do is really, some legwork, and you'll really find the right location.
When a new franchisee opens up, I guess there's a lot of support, obviously, with marketing and advertising. Maybe talk about that a little bit to get the store up and going pretty quickly.
Sure. Actually, on this part, I'll let Danna lead, as she's really the director of branding, and she knows very well what it is that we're looking for when we promote an opening.
Well, we actually really want to connect with the community, and that's very important. We don't necessarily spend a lot of money on big, expensive advertising. We really want to get to the grassroots and kind of guerrilla marketing and getting involved with the community and the schools is the most important thing that we can do. And we give a lot of training and guidance for the franchisees on how to connect well with their local community, how to get the schools excited and involved, let them know that we're there. And that's proven to be a very, very successful way of marketing and advertising the stores, especially when there's a new location.
That's good advice. What advice, this question would be for both of you, and I guess I'll start with you first, Danna, is what advice would you give to our listeners who are looking to buy a franchise? The majority of our listeners are, I guess you could call them aspiring entrepreneurs, kind of considering the franchise alternative. What would you say to them?
Well, I would definitely say that the most important thing in anything you do, in franchising as well as any other business, is having a passion for what you're doing. And since the very first day that we started to embark on Menchies, my husband and I, till we've gotten to where we are today with Amit coming on board, it's all about having a passion for what we do every day and enjoying it every day. And I really think that, at least for me, that's definitely the secret to success. If you enjoy what you're doing, you will do great at it and you'll be successful.
Yeah, and it's not work anymore, it sounds like, for you.
Not at all.
That's fantastic. And what would you say, Amit, to our listeners considering buying a franchise?
It may sound corny, but I would support that, and I will elaborate. I'll give a personal example. I've been in several businesses that I just, on first-hand experience, where business may be a successful model and profitable, but if you don't wake up in the morning and have a smile on your face, don't do it. And one of the things we see, and it happened to me, I was in several businesses where it wasn't my niche. It wasn't what I was designed to do. And one of the things I see with Menchies is we really have a good time. People that deal with us, from suppliers, vendors, consumers, franchisees, they all see me, Donna, the team. We all have a great time doing what we do. And people notice. And people, when they meet with us, when they meet with Donna, they tell us that they see the spark in our eyes. They see how much we love, how much passion we have for the brand. So if you're looking to buy a franchise, I would say the first and far most important thing about any franchise is, what is it that is going to make you happy when you wake up 6, 7, 8, 9 in the morning? What is it going to be that's going to put a smile on your face? Is it going to be a franchise when you're going to serve frozen yogurt to children and families and be happy about it? Whether if you're service-oriented, it's going to be a auto service company, whatever it is may be, and all concepts are great. There's some really phenomenal companies out there. It has to put a smile on your face.
Well said. That was a great response.
What are Menchie's plans for the futures, guys?
Menchies is a rapidly expanding company. We really see ourselves these days as the leading source in this segment, where we actually are innovating and bringing new ideas and concepts into the frozen yogurt world. We are now expanding domestically. We should be present in 20 states, possibly 21. I have to look at the charts, by the first quarter of 2010 in the U.S. This will put us pretty much as the highest presence in markets ratio in the United States as to new frozen yogurt chains. As far as the world, we're dealing with several countries right now. We should be open in China, Japan, Australia within probably the next 4 to 6 months. So the company is really growing fast, and we're doing it whilst we still keep our consistent look in the store, consistent feel to the consumer. So we're looking to really establish ourselves as the next frozen yogurt largest chain in the world.
That's a great goal, obviously.
Yeah. We have about 1 minute. What's the best way for our listeners to get more information on the Menchies franchise? Is there a website they can go to? Is Facebook?
Absolutely. They can go to menchies.com. Yeah, that's menchies.com, and they can really read everything in our web. At that point, there are forms to fill out in the web, and they will be contacted by our franchise development department. They'll give them all the answers. They'll provide all the tools. We really have a pro-franchisee and pro-candidate system where when you want to join, all you really need to do is have a passion for the brand. We look at things from a different point of view with this franchise. It's really about what can you bring to the system from an experience and a passion standpoint, so that we feel that you're the right fit for the organization.
That's fantastic. And Amit and Donna, I want to thank both of you again. You've been wonderful guests, and we wish you a happy holiday, and we'd love to have you guys come back next year as you guys continue to grow.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Absolutely. To you and to all the listeners as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Amit. Thanks, Donna.
Thank you, guys. Great job. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Great show, huh, Don?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I love their
hungry.
Yeah, I love their goal.
The whole concept, and it really is. It's one of those feel-good type of franchise systems. You know what I mean? Where you really put a smile on your customers' faces. And
right.
That's really what I love about it. So interesting concept. So we'll keep our eye on them. Over the next year as they continue to grow. And
right.
So you did a good job, Don. And next week, I have to even look who we have next week. I know we have an interesting show next week, but we're going to be talking about the year in franchising as well.
Right.
I think you and I want to talk about everything, because I think you and I have been involved in franchising for 10 years now, and I have to say that this has probably been one of the most interesting years. Would you agree?
Yeah, the most challenging. From doing the show, I guess. You and I have probably learned more in these last couple of years about franchising than in our previous 8 years.
I
from
totally
doing the show.
agree. It's been an educational year, and yes, you did a good job, Don. So I'll be talking to you next week. And for our listeners, go to franchiseinterviews.com, franchisefunding.net, gofranchise.com, and thanks everyone for listening. And I'll talk to you next week, Don.
Have a great day, Marty.
You too. Take care. Bye bye.